Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome to the Press Start Leadership Podcast, the podcast about game-changing leadership, teaching you how to get the most out of your product and development team and become the leader you were meant to be. Leadership coaching and training for the international game industry professional. Now, let me introduce you to your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher Mifsud.
Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome to this week's edition of Press Start Leadership Podcast. This week, we're answering some questions. Hey, Chris, I've got a question. Well, I've got an answer. What are some ways that I can level up as a leader? All right, I'm going to give you 3 simple tips on how to level up as a leader. First up, take online classes. There are lots of courses out there on just about everything from C++, the League of Legends, to yoga. So basically you can find just about anything you're looking for in an online class. There are classes just for about everything. So whatever you're looking for, from business to personal life, you should be able to find something. And that's a good way to level up as a leader. Number 2, you can watch YouTube videos and tutorials. If you don't have the money to pay for online courses, you can always find free content on YouTube. There's a lot of different folks out there, but you probably have to spend more time figuring out which ones are good and which ones are bad and doing a lot of legwork on that side. So, if you don't have money and you have time, YouTube tutorials are a decent way to go through the process and get the information you need. Number 3, find a mentor. Do you have a hero in business? Reach out to them. Nowadays, you have the ability to direct message people via LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or what have you. So, 99% of the time, folks aren't going to reply, but it never hurts to ask. And when you do find someone who is willing to mentor you and work with you, a lot of awesome things can happen. So, take the time to reach out to those people that inspire you and see if they have the time to give you back. Now, remember, if you're going to reach out to people, respect their time and actually be willing to put in the work. Don't just ask people because on a whim. Okay, next question. Why are one-on-ones important? Okay. In my opinion, one-on-one meetings are the most important thing a leader can do with their team, but they're often the most overlooked. And why does this happen? It's generally due to poor prioritization. It's common to put project deadlines above people, and in the short term, that may seem to make sense. In the long term, if you're not putting your people first, it's likely to land you and your company in hot lava, like in Mario. I can give you 3 reasons why one-on-ones are important. 1, analytics. When you're having one-on-one meetings with your team, you're gathering data. You may have a lot of the hard data already, but unless you're talking to your team, I guarantee you don't have all the soft data you need to make good decisions. Is the timeline progressing as it should? Are there any issues with the project? How about personal matters that need to be addressed? These are all items that could potentially derail your project and your business. But if you don't have all the data, you won't make informed decisions. And if you aren't making informed decisions, you can't be the effective leader you're meant to be. Number 2, building trust. Teams of any kind only work well together when there is trust. In order to thrive, your team needs to know they can trust each other, and they need to know that they can trust you to lead them. What's the best way to earn trust, you ask? Having regular conversations with your team members. If you showed them consistency, care, and dedication, they'll do the same for you and your company. When you build rapport, they feel much more comfortable bringing up a problem than if that's the only contact they ever have with you, and you just might end up saving the day. Number 3, growth. Getting to know your team members' individual strengths and weaknesses and long-term aspirations doesn't just help you succeed on a project-by-project basis. It also helps you grow your business and strengthens its reputation. If you're helping each of your team members grow, that only serves you and your brand, even if they end up moving on. And those are the 3 reasons why one-on-ones are important: analytics, building trust, and growth. Next question. Do you have any tips for working abroad? Well, actually, I do. My work in the gaming industry has allowed me to live in 6 different countries: the United States, Canada, India, Malta, Poland, in the Netherlands. Possibly 7 if you count my extended vacation in Costa Rica due to the COVID travel restrictions earlier this year. During my career, I've learned quite a lot about moving and adapting to new places. And if you've always dreamed of being a world warrior yourself, I do have 5 tips on how to do it. Number 1, apply for the job. Sounds obvious, right? And it is. But it can also be daunting to apply for a job outside of the country. There are a lot of what ifs involved. So the best way to start sorting through them is by applying. Make your decisions later when you've actually been offered the job. I recommend using LinkedIn Jobs and selecting worldwide as your preferred location so you can see what's out there. Being as open as possible will give you a lot more options than if you're just picking specific places. But if you know specific spots you want to be, go ahead and do it. 2, do your research. Learn absolutely everything you can about your country of interest. Do you know what the cost of living is? How about the exchange rates, the taxes, the languages they speak, what their culture is like? You can adjust to anything, but it will be a lot easier if you know that you're moving to a region where they only speak French. 50% of your salary goes to taxes, and your take-home pay is significantly less than you thought it was going to be because you didn't double-check the exchange rate. Just saying, I know from experience. Number 3, make friends before you move. Moving to a new country can be really isolating. I highly suggest joining an expatriate group on Facebook or connecting with other folks via Internations or other organizations like that. Also, find out what kind of resources your new employer has available. Have they hired outside of the country before? Do they offer local language classes for employees? What is their onboarding plan for new hires? It's important to ask up front so you know what you're getting into. Again, surprises are never fun when you're moving to a new country. 4, plan for things to not move quickly. Visas and other necessary documents can take quite a lot of time to process, and you have almost zero control over that process. Plus, you're no longer in your country, so plan on the rules you're used to not applying. Learn the rules of the new game, of course, but most importantly, learn to laugh at life and at the process. If you could do that, people from any country will laugh with you, and you'll be just fine. Again, I know from experience. And number 5, get a dual citizenship. A lot of people can qualify for dual citizenship and don't realize it. Having a dual citizenship can help a company decide to hire you over someone else who might have to go through a lengthy visa process. If you're somewhere like the European Union, it can allow for freedom of movement between countries, which also means freedom of job prospects. Like anything else, do your research and make sure you won't have to pay double taxes, but generally dual citizenship is a win-win. And there you go, 5 tips for working abroad. Apply for the job, do your research, make friends before you move, plan for things not to move quickly, and get a dual citizenship if you can. All right, and that's this week's episode of Press Start Leadership Podcast. Thanks for joining us this week and being a press starter. Let me know what you think in the comments. And remember, stay awesome. If you haven't downloaded my free ebook, 5 Heroic Leadership Skills, click on the link in the description. Tune in next week for your next episode of Press Start Leadership Podcast. Thank you.